Dungeon Crawler Network presents Tales of Tamriel.
Greetings and well met, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to episode 107 of Tales of Tamriel, brought to you by the Dungeon Crawler Network and, of course, our sponsors over at patreon.com/Dungeon Crawler Network. I am your host, Aggelos, and with me this morning, we actually do have a full cast today, and it's fantastic. First off, Avi Optimal, how are you, sir?
I'm doing good. I have a sore throat, and I'm hoping that I can mute my mic before I cough every time.
Nice.
That is the goal.
That's the one goal of the show, and that's what you're working on.
I aim to achieve it, but if you guys get one of my nasty coughs, just know it's all Krabby's fault.
It's all Krabby's fault. Hashtag blame Krabby.
Yes.
Also joining us, you may have noticed, well, know him from all over. He is our guild leader on our EU side on the PC Mega server. He created the amazing fishing teaser that he did for us for our fishing nights. And he's been on the show before. That would be Arknir. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great. I slept for about 15 hours last night, so but I'm awesome.
I actually debated last night. I was like, we were getting ready for our group, and we were like, we have enough people? I'm like, well, I know I can get Ark, because I'll just text him, but he's sleeping, so I don't want to grab him till the very end, till we know what we're doing. And no, I'm glad you slept, so that's good.
I'm glad to.
Also joining us, well, I'm trying to think of, I had a whole line here, and I just drew a blank. One of our newest members at Dungeon Crawler Network, part of our Xbox console reach out program that we're trying to do, and the guild leader of our Xbox One guild, Gentleman Sour. How are you, sir?
Yeah, I'm doing pretty good. I woke up from 6 o'clock in the morning. I went to bed at 3, so you can sum it up right there in 3 hours.
All right. Well, a special day late happy birthday from the Tales of Tamriel, because yesterday was your birthday. I remember that.
Thank you.
So
yeah, happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
So there we go. So now you actually heard a few more voices. You've probably seen Gentleman Sour streaming on our Twitch channel. Just doing all sorts of random stuff. So I pretty much sprung this entire episode on these two guys, like today, like 10 minutes before the show started. I'm like, by the way, Ark, gentlemen, why don't you just hop on in here? Let's just do it. So it's kind of late notice. That's how I roll here. You know, you don't even know you become a host until I randomly pull you into a call, and then all of a sudden, hey, by the way, we're live. Hey.
That's pretty much how it happens. One day I got a message saying, "Hey, you want to be on Tales?" I said, "Sure," and here we are over a year later.
Yeah, do you want to be on Tales? Sure. Okay, hold on. Accept this call. We are live. And
like, oh, do I have patch notes? Patch notes are there. Check your mail.
Check your mail.
Fidgeting to throw your microphone in.
Yep. I give no one any prep time whatsoever, because that's how we roll here. And special hello to the chat room. Hey, chat room, thank you for showing up. I know this is an off day. We're doing it on a Saturday rather than a Sunday because it is Mother's Day. And obviously, my wife, got to celebrate Mother's Day for my wife. And, of course, my own mom. So there we go. All right, guys, we got a lot of news to go over. We're going to go ahead and jump right on into that. First off, I have it in the show notes. You can see it in our description below as well if you want to read the whole thing. But somebody over at the amazing Elder Scrolls Online forums, I'm actually going to roll up and see the name here so I give them Paulington. There we go. And Dominoid, thank you, because Dominoid was there and did a lot of this. But he did a transcript of the PAX Q&A roundtable session for Dark Brotherhood. So the entire thing is over on, you can see it in our notes, you can see it on the official forum, so if you didn't get a chance, go ahead and take a look. We're not going to go over all of it because obviously when you have an open Q&A session at PAX or anywhere like that, you get a lot of those softball-y questions where it's just kind of like, yeah, okay, everyone knows all the answers. It's just, yeah, that's what they did. They softballed it.
Can we bring up question 13, please? Because
Yeah.
I brought it up last episode, and I just think it's amazing.
That's actually one of the ones
Yeah.
I was gonna bring up anyway.
Yeah, it just makes me so happy. Besides the fact that when asked, craft bags, how much stuff can I stuff in it? Rich says a shit ton. and then when he gives the real answer, he says, I think there's something like 42 billion.
So yeah,
So pretty much unlimited.
there is a limit to the crafting bags, but it's like 42 billion units or something like that. So
Yeah.
I think someone even made a joke about it, saying someone will probably fill it up, but it's entirely unrealistic that anyone would ever be able to fill it up.
If they do, they play the game a little too much.
And they don't do anything with their crafting mats.
They need to go take a walk.
It's quite
need to go
impossible, I
fishing.
think, because I was watching a stream. I don't know who was that, but she calculated it, and I think it required 60,000 PTS templates to fill the crafting bag.
Damn.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
That's a lot. Because I know that when you open up on the PTS, when you open up that box of crafting goodies, it's just like stacks and stacks of material. So that's I don't know who would do that. Like, who thought to do that? Just be like, hey, let's just keep creating templates so we have tons of stuff until we fill out our crafting bags. Oh my goodness. But yeah, there is some good stuff in here. A lot of stuff we already know, so I wasn't going to go over everything that was in this just because it would be dull and tedious. Since if you watch our show, you know we cover the news. We've talked about tons of this stuff already, and some of the questions, it's just kind of like, ugh, okay. You know, but that's what you get with Q&As. But I'm glad they went ahead and did this. There's some questions about housing in here, as well as veteran ranks and how they're going to work. One of the questions I really liked is, with the removal of VR, can you tell us how veteran zones and Craglorn will be handled? And Rich Lambert pretty much said, I would like to do something with Craglorn, but it won't be there for Dark Brotherhood. However, we are converting the gold and silver zones over to champion points as well, or rather changing the balance in there. You can go through the first few levels of CP really quickly, and you earn them at different pace compared to silver progression. So we're trying to rebalance. So, yeah, I'm curious how they're going to do Craglorn, because it is a group zone. It was designed for a group of 4 players. So, now, again, that was VR 14, 12, and 14. So, the grouping requirements are not quite there anymore, but it's still designed that way. Anyone have anything they want to talk about the PAX thing before we move on? I know we just wanted to mention it and show that if you want to read the whole thing, it's in our notes.
I think one thing that's a little interesting is the idea of, somebody sort of asked, like, what's going to happen with silver and gold content, since it's going to be leveled out to just the champion points now, and we level champion points so fast. How will we gain XP? And they mentioned the idea of scaling down our characters.
Really?
Yeah, so if you're in like a champion point 40 zone, then your character would be scaled down to champion point 40s, so you'd still get experience. And Rich said, I don't love scaling down, but you have a really good idea. Scaling the existing content, that's a good idea. So,
Okay.
just wanted to bring that up. I thought it was kind of interesting. It's question 31.
No, that's very interesting. Like,
Yeah.
they kind of do scaling already, but they don't do scaling down, which I guess is the difference.
Yeah, well, I mean, one of the main things is, like, right now I'm VR 13, And if I go to Daggerfall, which is VR1, I don't get any experience besides completing quests, and it's very low. So I guess that was kind of the idea, you know.
Well, I know when champion points are out, a VR 16 is only equated to, what, 160 champion points or something like that, and I don't know of anyone who can't get that in like 10 minutes.
Well, well, exactly, that's the thing. So that'd make a place like, for the Ebonheart pack, Daggerfall, which would be, what, champion point 10? Something along that line, really low. Champion points 1 to 10. You know, it's like, oh, well, that's a low level zone. That's just as low as 50, pretty much.
I think Asari is he's in chat room right now. I don't know if he's trolling me or not, but scaling down faction barrier removal in PvE basically confirmed. See, that would actually be really cool. Like, I know I would like to see the removal of factions for PvE zones. So, like,
Really?
yeah, I would. I think it would be really neat to be able to go to, I don't know, Daggerfall City and see level 5, you know, Daggerfall people running around. I mean, we kind of already do it anyway.
You want a bunch of AD running around the rift? I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that.
See, it wouldn't be so bad if they added that the justice system PvP so that I could kill them when they stole stuff. Then I'd feel better. But no, I actually think it'd be kind of neat. It would expand our ability to do guild events together. Like, when I do all my events, given most of my events are PvP related, like Imperial City, so that would be out. But like, if we were doing Craglorn or Rothgar or use Bane world bosses, things like that, you have to have an EP character. And it'd be nice to be able to bring everyone together. I mean, PvP is what it is. You still are separated out, but yeah, I don't know. I like it. And Sar's like, no, I'm being serious. The level disparity there would be the biggest obstacle. With downscaling, they could easily put a travel to command to hop into another faction's variant of the zone. Yeah, I guess they could.
That'd be pretty interesting.
Yeah, indeed.
I mean, they could do it like when we are in a dungeon or trials. When you leave the group, it instantly starts to kick you from the dungeon or the trial. It could be done like that. As long as you're in a group, you could travel to your group leader's faction. As soon as you leave the group, you could get kicked out to your own faction, whatever that is.
I think what they should do, because there's already 3 versions of everything, right? There's the normal version, the 1 to 50, the silver, and the gold, right? They should change it so when you're doing the 1 to 50, once you're finished with your main story, all the zones get converted to silver. Okay? Once you complete the silver, all the stuff gets converted. Or at least once you finish everything, maybe not even that, but once you finish silver and gold content, you should be able to unlock the gold version of every single zone if you want to. You know what I mean? So, like, that your Ebonheart pack zones are gold. Like, I'm Ebonheart pack, my zones are 1 to 50, so I go to Shadowfen, the stuff is like 20 or 30. I should be able to choose, once I hit VR 16 max level, to go, you know what? I want everything zoomed up so no matter where I go in the world, I get experience, I get champion points, I get, you know, materials that are good.
Be nice.
Yeah, it's a shame that you have to play your favorite zone through 1 through 50 and it's like a cakewalk.
Yeah.
And you can't experience it like you want to, being actually a challenge.
Exactly.
I agree.
I think that would be really, really neat to do. Okay, as I grab on here. Next little bit of news. Again, this is going to be in the show notes for anyone who's interested, but Imager user Horizon Seeker, and they were on Reddit, I can't remember their Reddit name, went ahead and took screenshots of all of the new crafted sets. If you haven't got a chance to play on the PTS where you get all these, they got all of the new Dark Brotherhood sets available, and you can now look at them and try to do a little bit of theory crafting as you go. I know there's like the one that really, really, really interested me it's kind of situational, and yet it's still like I can imagine the execute phase on this, the gladiators gear, because the 2 set and 3 set add weapon critical, the 4 set adds weapon damage, and the 5 set is your light and heavy attacks deal an additional 660 weapon damage to targets below 25% health. That's pretty sick.
Yeah,
That's pretty cool.
good for boss burning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, that's fantastic. But see, it kind of hurts your overall DPS, you know, at the start, because you can't change armor mid-fight, so it's not really going to help there. But there's a whole list of gear that's available. If you want to check it out, the link will be in our show notes as well. Something that I know I'm going to be looking forward to as soon as I can find it on this list. Is that it? Yes. The Jerkin of Imperial Physique.
I was just gonna bring that up too.
Everyone who does our
very
PvP,
interesting.
yeah, everyone who does our Imperial City Night will probably want to grab this, because while you're the 5 set bonuses, while you're in the Imperial City, you tap into the power of the Telvar stones you are carrying, increasing your health, magic, and stamina by about 1,000. While you have a 4x Telvar stone multiplier, this effect is increased by 600%.
Whoa.
Wow.
Yeah. I just want to collect Telvar stones. The game.
Here's the thing. When was the last time any of us got 4x Telvar stones?
Yeah, I tend to cap out around the 2x or 3x, I should say.
Yeah, that's true.
And we'll have to stop being reckless, and I don't think I will ever stop being reckless. I don't know.
I know. I've been actually trying to save my stuff for my Telvar stones, because they actually had a really awesome thing where, you know how when you open the bags in Telvar, with Telvar stones for gear and stuff like that, there's a chance to get the polymorphs. It's small. Well, they've actually now changed it, so they've added the polymorphs directly that you can purchase with Telvar stones. So there's 3 polymorphs. Problem is, of those 3 polymorphs, there are 250,000, 250,000 Telvar stones per. So that's kind of crazy. Man, someone's angry typing right now. Yeah, so that is interesting, and I'm really going to be farming for those. All right, next little bit of news. I'm going to try to pull this up on the stream here. So I got to add a new field, because I didn't do this beforehand, which I should have, but you know, whatever. Who cares? I'll do it at will whenever I want. So selection criteria. Someone needs to vape for me a little bit. Avi, do some vaping.
Oh, you know, let's talk some Overwatch.
Oh, I hate you. Get off my call. Get off my call. I'm done with you.
And you did a segue for me right into that
I'm
one.
I'm done with you. I'm done with you.
Man,
All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and pull this up on the stream now that Avi completely screwed me over there. Our friends over at Tamriel Foundry, and of course our friend Dominoid, the great data miner that he is, went ahead and updated a bunch of information for that he found with the Dark Brotherhood patch. So we're going to go ahead and go through some of that now. Obviously, as you can see, more consumables are adding a fatal poison on the screen. They're also adding a couple motif books. They're adding the Abba's Watch motif, Aldmari, Daggerfall, Ebonheart Pact, the Morag Tong, Outlaw, Trinimac, and Malakath. So all those will be coming to the Crown Store. Now, with that being said, this stuff will be in the Crown Store, but out of all of this, the Trinimac I can see, they'll be on the Crown Store faster, but the Morag Tong will be available in the game first. You know what I mean? Because it hasn't been in the game. Same with Abba's Watch. So I think both of those will be available in the game first. So we probably won't see Abba's Watch. I don't think Abba's Watch is in the game yet. Am I crazy? Like, I don't think it is.
I don't believe so.
I'm not sure.
Yeah. So Morag Tong and Abba's Watch will probably appear in the game to be collectibles first. So we'll see them in the game as collectible items before we see them anywhere else. So that's kind of neat. All right. Scrolling back down here, we also have some costumes.
Sheogorath costume male.
Sheogorath male costume. Yeah.
Lining it up.
I know
That is pretty awesome.
the toxin doctor had a lot of comments about that one. You can see that on the screen now. I really like the Priest of the Green costume, but of course they're adding a little bit more Imperial costumes in there just for you role players out there. I know that Imperial female mid looks pretty hot, and the Imperial female low. So Avi, you know,
I know.
get your girls in that.
I think they're already on the PTS, right?
I
know I'm pretty sure. I know all the like male ones are, and the Imperial female low. I can't remember the other two.
Toxin Doctor I know is, and I think Priest of the Green is as well.
Yeah, the Imperial male low and male mid are on there for sure.
Go ahead, Ag.
No. Go ahead. Say what you're gonna say.
Are the low, mid, and high? Is that like a class system?
Yeah, I think it's nobility versus commoner. Because if I'm gonna pull it back up here, but if you look at the difference between the medium or mid and low, the low kind of looks like a threadbare kind of short dress, whereas the mid is more of an elegant full length dress kind of deal. So I think it's just class restrictions. New mounts coming. Of course, they're all wolf mounts. So Wicked Wolf is probably just, crapping a brick right now.
And our chat room also.
Yes. The wolves are real, and they are definitely exciting. We got the Highland Wolf, which is one of the first ones we'll see. The Red Pit Wolf, Ice Wolf, which I want, and a Doom Wolf. So we'll see at least 4 new wolf mounts coming into the game, which is definitely exciting. I really like the wolf mounts, but I have an issue. That issue is I really like my Ratadu Tiger, my yearly, or for subscribing for a year to the game before it went buy to play. That reward is pretty awesome, and I don't ever think I'm ever going to change it. So one of my other characters may have to ride a wolf. I don't know. Because while I want to ride the wolf, I don't want to give up my tiger. So.
And the animation is pretty awesome on those wolves.
Oh, yeah.
They did a good job.
The howling, and you guy kind of throws his arm up like, yeah, charge. So,
now I
did a good job.
I haven't seen, because I haven't been on the PTS, but how does the Doom Wolf look? Because on the picture it looks
with red eyes. The only one that I saw on the PTS was the Highland Wolf. The other ones aren't on there yet.
The other three aren't on the PTS.
No. Unfortunately, we probably won't see those until later. But it's not like they really need a ton of testing either, because they share the same rigging model, so it's just a texture reskin. So that's all it is. Someone in chat was saying, I'm just gonna call him Butch here, Bush. Yeah, Red Pit Wolf looks kind of like a fox. It really does. I really like it. I don't know. I'd do it. Carly, one of our Patreon supporters in chat. It's very hard to top the camel mount and its awesome spit action.
I agree on that.
Yeah, new pets are coming in. The badger, black and white. So I'm gonna get that pet, and I'm gonna call it a honey badger. Honey badger. Chubloon, dragon viper, lynx, 3 Nixads, and a pocket mammoth being added as pets for this patch as well. So those are really exciting.
I have a question about Nixads.
Okay.
What are Nixads? Like, what are those creatures?
If I were to guess, oh, I can't even say that over chat. Like, I'm watching chat, and last year's like, oh, and yeah, no, I can't even say that over the show. So you should have been here to see what he said, because that was funny. Nixads, they kind of look, I'm going to see if I can pull one up here. They kind of look like they're plant-based, so I think they would almost be like a weird Fey variant of the, why am I drawing a blank on them? The tree things. Help me out.
Oh, the Spriggans.
Yes. Yes, how could I forget Spriggans? It's Theis's favorite thing. The book about Spriggans, you know, the child poem. Guess what? What? Spriggan butt. She loves that one. So, Glassner says they're wing nopes. You know, I think they're kind of neat. Yeah, they're kind of like a fae type creature, but you know, probably related to Spriggans if I were to guess just by the look of them. Finally, the last two things are miscellaneous changes. Name changes are coming. So if you have a bad reputation, you can now change your name. Also, character slots.
Yes.
I'm waiting
3
for
of 'em.
Avi just to go nuts over character slots.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited, even though I would have liked this 4 months ago. But hey, I'll take them. I'm excited.
He'll end up deleting them all anyway.
That's true.
He's definitely got a point.
That's been known to happen.
Yeah, he's definitely got a point there. Yeah, a lot of people seem to be excited about these. Plant fairies take all my money. So those are coming with the Dark Brotherhood patch. Now, obviously, they are part of this. We don't know when they're going to appear. They generally roll in a couple months at a time, so they'll probably split this entire section into 3 months because that's what they do. They bring a new Crown Store shipment every month. So they'll take parts of this and do it one, you know, as at launch there'll be a couple items, a month in, 2 months in, 3 months in, and that's when we'll see everything. So in about 3 months' time, you'll be able to get pretty much everything that's there, more than likely, with the exception.
Aggelos.
Yeah,
Have you seen the Dragon Viper? Have you used it on the PTS?
I have not used it on the PTS. I have looked
Okay.
at it, but I have not
Okay.
used it.
I have to say something about this.
Okay.
Stat real fast.
Okay.
When you walk, the Ark knows. Our minds got blown. Okay, so when you walk, it walks behind you, but if you jump on your mount and start riding, it jumps up and it flies behind you.
Does it really?
Yeah,
does.
it's awesome.
It's so cool. And then it sits, when you're like sitting idle, all of a sudden a little bird will start flying around its head and it jumps up and just completely devours it, and just one feather starts falling to the floor. It's easily become my favorite. So.
Yeah.
Are the Nix ads on the PTS?
Yes, they are.
Yeah, they
How
are.
big are they? Are they like Spriggans or?
No,
Are they smaller?
they're smaller.
Amanda Gray said something in chat that I wanted to say. It's crazy how exciting, including her, people get about non-functional crap. You know what the most exciting thing about this entire patch is? The fact that when you log into your game, on the login screen when you see your character, it shows your costume, which mount you have equipped, and what pet you have out.
It's so awesome.
I don't know why I love that so much, but I do.
I think because it was a surprise, you know. We didn't see it coming until we logged on to PTS and it was right there, and everyone went, "Whoa!"
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, you want to talk about non-functional crap? What purpose does that really serve to the game other than just being awesome? And I think it's fantastic. So I'm excited about that.
Absolutely.
Big news coming up with Dark Brotherhood. We got the launch details for Dark Brotherhood, including pricing. The Dark Brotherhood price for the Dark Brotherhood Collector's Bundle, which includes Dark Brotherhood DLC, 5 experience scrolls, the Wolf Mount, or the Highland Wolf Mount, and one of the Nixad pets is set at 4,000 crowns. I'm trying to find where the other price would be. I think it's 2,000 crowns by itself. So, do you guys think that's a fair price for this?
I would think so.
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, the bundle or the DLC alone?
The bundle by itself, I think, is actually a good price. Like, well, the bundle is great because if you bought everything separately, it's actually more expensive.
Mm-hmm.
So if you were planning on getting experience scrolls and buying, like, the thing is, I'm always subbed, but even I've considered buying this because I'm sitting there going, well, then I'll have the DLC, I'll get the pet and the mount, which I'd want anyway, and experience scrolls, which, you know, whatever. But it's actually a very good value. But yeah, for the normal version only being, I think, 2k crowns, is that a good price for Dark Brotherhood?
Now, how much was the Thieves Guild?
I think, was that 2.5 or 2?
I want to say it was the same as this.
Was it? Yeah, so 2,000. So what is that? $20 or something like that? Well, to get 1,500 crowns outright, it's $14.99. To get the 2,500 yeah, 2,500 crowns, it's like $23.99. So yeah, it's like $23 to get this with a little bit of extra crowns. 2,000's pretty cheap overall. Like, it's actually not that expensive. I'm sure some of you guys have spent more on other games.
I agree. A new DLC, to me at least, because I'm a slow leveler and I go through everything as much as I can, it adds around, I don't know, 50 to 60 hours of gameplay for me. Like taking screenshots and all included.
Right.
I pay much more money to some single-player games that has like, I don't know, 10, 20 hours gameplay.
True.
Included, if without counting the multiplayer, but you get to group up in this DLCs too, which has a multiplayer, so it's a fair price for me.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, I've spent more crowns on mounts.
Yeah.
Alone.
Yeah. Yep.
Right. Right. So, let's see what else they got in. So that's pretty much the main thing that they announced here, was that the price of it. And I think I'm trying to find it on here. I know they announced the date. Why am I losing that? Because this is actually, oh, there it is. Dark Brotherhood, the latest DLC for the Elder Scrolls Online Tamriel Unlimited, is available in the ESO PTS right now, and launches on PC and Mac on March 31st, and both Xbox One and PS4 on June 14th, so 2 weeks later. So there we go, guys. Or not March 31st, May 31st. What in the world am I talking about? So at this point, we're looking at less than a little over 3 weeks, and we'll have the new thing. So that's pretty awesome. Like, I actually didn't think it was coming quite this soon. Because, wait, isn't this Q1 is... No, they would have had till June, I think it is, for Q2, isn't it? Isn't June?
June.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so they would have had... They're getting this out about a month ahead of time, so...
Well, you said that PS4 and Xbox is getting it June 14th.
Yeah, but, I'm going to say this. That's... And Gentleman Sour, he can confirm this with being Xbox. It's not the fact that, like, even if they put it to the end of their 3 months, they still have to wait for Xbox and PS4 to verify the patch. So there's always a later time because, the patch is out. Yeah, that's great. But then they have to present it to Sony and Microsoft, say, hey, here's our patch. And they run it through their own QA, which takes 2 weeks or whatever.
I think it's logical. It's only logical that, we Xbox and PS4 users just get it 2 weeks later.
Right.
Right. I'm saying that's why we're seeing it as early as May 31st, is simply because of that reason alone. So.
Okay, Danny Schwink, question: will it be ready for prime time? Are you talking launch? I'm assuming when this DLC comes out, they've been doing pretty good. When a DLC drops, it's normally they take the servers down around 8 in the morning or so, sometimes a little earlier, and they're normally done by 3 or 4 in the afternoon Eastern time. So by prime time, if you're on at least the East Coast, being 8, 9 o'clock, 7 to 9 being prime time, I guess. Yeah, you should be perfectly fine. So I don't see an issue.
This is going to be a big patch. It's going to be probably one of their biggest patches with the removal of vet ranks. So there's a lot coming with this.
Spirit, why doesn't ZOS ask for approval earlier for console? I play on console and hate waiting. Honestly, we don't know exactly when they submit. For all we know, it could have been done a month ago and it's been waiting for Microsoft and Sony. I'm not exactly sure why they don't try to do a simultaneous release by holding PC back or presenting it earlier. I don't know why they've decided to go PC first. A lot of people, if you really want to think about it, especially when they announced console and buy to play, the PC was the year-long beta test for ESO. So maybe they're throwing it to PC first. That way they can hammer out a lot of the bugs before it actually gets to Xbox and PS4. Because they've done that already. Because Xbox and PS4 don't experience near the issues. Not saying they don't experience issues, just not near the ones the PC does, because the PC, they figured it out quick, right away on the PC. They get the hot fix out, and then they send that hot fix to Microsoft and Sony and get that in there all at one shot.
Yeah, James Harvey just said they said at the beginning they wouldn't hold up PC content for the consoles, and being a console player, I think that's perfectly fine. I mean, PC players have been playing this game for how long now? 3 years?
Well, yeah, we've been podcasting for over 2, so yeah, we actually just had our second year anniversary in ESO. That's what the whole cake was about.
Right, true, yeah. But I definitely think that I don't blame them for not wanting to hold up the PC content.
Yeah.
The veteran players from PC deserve the 2 weeks of early content, in my opinion.
We deserve all the bugs.
We deserve all the bugs. Speaking of bugs, this week we had a patch 2.3.10 that featured a few fixes for some combat abilities, animations, achievements, and itemization. And fixes an issue where your character could die immediately after entering Cyrodiil. Well, if you're a bad PvP player, they're just trying to cut out the middleman work for you. So that patch was approximately 625 megs in size, and that hit us on, Tuesday or something like that. So a couple bugs that they fixed included the Dungeon Finder completion rewards for White Gold Tower were not actually working. So if you did do a Dungeon Finder and somehow or another managed to, with a pug, defeat White Gold Tower, you weren't actually getting rewarded. So that's a thing. More changes to Maul of Lorcage. That Rakat, the Fang of Lorcage, had a few things that needed fixed. And fixed an issue where horse mounts were not displaying their idle animations correctly, as well as a couple other things, such as regeneration got a big fix. Rapid maneuvers, they fixed an issue where the bonus from this ability and its morphs would affect group members at any distance instead of just within 20 meters. So if you randomly were in a group, weren't even in the same zone, and all of a sudden got hit with it, maybe that's what that was. And a fix to Purge, where the bonus of this ability and its morphs would affect group members at a larger distance. So both of those were great. Did you guys notice anything of note that you wanted to mention from these notes? It was small. It's just an incremental patch, so bug fixes and things like that.
I didn't even realize there was a patch.
Well, there you go. That's how minuscule this patch was. I didn't even realize there was one. So, interesting. All right, so we got a little bit of feedback. We want to, not feedback, but, official forum feedback. Not us, but I want to mention that MMORPG.com had an article with Brian Wheeler that discussed a lot of PvP. I am not going to go over that here because you should go over to MMORPG and get, give them their clicks. But I wanted to mention that it was there. It's an interesting little interview. It's only a couple questions, but they talk about PvP very extensively. Specifically, I know one thing that Glassnear and I are very excited about in our guild is the capturable districts within Imperial City with Dark Brotherhood, which is really freaking awesome. And they talk about that briefly in there. So if you want to check that out, MMORPG.com, there's an article with Brian Wheeler on PvP. Go ahead and check that out. All right. We have 3 more things we want to talk about in news. First off, let me pull it up here. An interesting little piece of news. In patch 2.4.x, so they don't know when it's going to happen, but sometime whenever we get it, they are reinstituting the thing that new characters will be going to the starting islands after the Cold Harbor tutorial rather than being dropped in Volkagard, Davin's Watch, or Daggerfall City. You will now be going to Canarthy's Roost, or Belkarth, or why am I drawing a blank? Help me out here. What's the name? Bleak Rock. Bleak Rock Isles. This got removed back in near the end of beta, that it wouldn't force you to go back to those islands, but now they're putting it back. What do you guys think about that?
If I remember correctly, they back at the end of beta, you weren't able to just jump on the boat and travel back were you? You know what I mean? Like if you landed in Bleak Rock, you weren't able to just jump on the boat and head to Stonefall. You actually had to do the quest there.
Yeah, no, that is true. That is very true. There was not a you had to do the quest. You had to go through the entire storyline to get off the island.
Yeah.
I
So
think
this is a good change.
yeah, I think what they're doing here is now they're just going to drop you on the island because it is kind of the whole idea is when you escape Cold Harbor. For anyone who hasn't done it, which if you're watching our show, if you're just deciding to play, I'm not going to give you a whole bunch of spoilers here. But when you escape Cold Harbor, you get sucked through a dark anchor, and you're literally just dropped into Nirn again. And the main story has always been that you've fallen in water and someone's drug you out of the water. And it's always been a little jarring 'cause when they dropped you in Davin's Watch or something, you'd run along, you'd talk to someone, they're like, oh yeah, we fished you out of the water, and you're sitting there in Davin's Watch going, where? This is all land. There's no water.
Yeah, like I started in a house.
Yeah, you start in a
I don't know what
house
you're talking
somewhere.
about.
Oh yeah, we pulled you out of the water. We took you to Bleak Rock, but then we took you all the way back here. So if you ever want to go back to Bleak Rock, just talk to me. And I never really liked that because the story of Kynarthi's Roost and Bleak Rock and Belkarth really set a nice pace for the overarching story of your faction, as well as you get to meet a couple people like NPCs that follow you throughout the zone. And if you don't do those starting areas, they don't make sense when they show up.
Especially Kynarthi's Roost, because that's where you meet Razumdar.
Yeah.
And Razumdar sticks with you throughout all of the AD stories. So
Ayla Earthturner is another one for EP. Like you see her in the beginning of the Rift, but you first meet her on Bleak Rock, and she does like. And again, not going to tell you the story on it because it's a really good story. But if you meet her, she's a completely different person. Just her mannerisms and the way she acts is different from in Bleak Rock than when you meet her in the Rift. So if you only saw her in the Rift first, it wouldn't make sense why she's acting the way that she is.
And if you don't do Bleak Rock and then you start the Rift and you meet her, it's like hi, how you doing? I'm Ayla Earthturner.
Yeah.
You don't get any of the backstory. But if you do it and then you run into her, it's like, old friend, how are you? It's been so long. So it changes. It changes everything.
Yeah, a lot of the stories, and a little people in chats like no one cares about Ayla. Well, it doesn't really matter if you don't like her at all. But the fact is, her story evolves through the entire zone, like through the entire Ebonheart Pact. Her story, what happens to her, follows you from Bleak Rock to the Rift. So it's an interesting story, and you don't really want to miss that.
Yeah. And the lore-wise side aside, I mean, to someone that just started playing Elder Scrolls Online and doesn't know the system, starting right at the Devil's Watch or another big city could be confusing, intimidating, and if they don't know about the starting isles and they just start doing quests, they are gonna get underleveled. Like if you don't do the starting quests, you are going to be underleveled. So to new players, that could be a problem too.
Mm-hmm.
James Harvey says, yeah, I liked how it was before the change. See, here's the thing that I really like with this change. You drop on Bleak Rock, but you can take the boat and go anywhere. I think Zos did a knee-jerk reaction to the change. People were complaining that Elder Scrolls should be open world, right? I shouldn't... obviously when you're leveling 1 to 50, it's a little theme park because you're going from zone to zone to zone. But in theory, at level 1, you could run all the way to the Rift. You probably wouldn't be able to fight anything, but you could do it, right? The idea is having the world be open, and they've made these steps. But when they first did it, people were complaining like, "Oh, I'm stuck on this island. I have to do this island. It takes me to another little island or another little part, and then I have to do that before I can move on to the main zones." That's not the way it is anymore. The way they're doing it now is you will drop on the island, but if you want to, you could take the boat to Davin's Watch or to Balfo Yen, or and then once you finish your zone, you can, or your main story, you can then go to silver and gold. You no longer have to go silver and then gold. You can go gold and silver. You could do both at the same time. Spend some time in one zone, jump to the next. They've really opened the world up, which is really cool and desperately needed. It makes it feel very Elder Scrolls. So I'm glad they're putting it back. The change was not, I wasn't very fond of the change when it first happened. All right, Gina Bruno came to the forums, and we're talking about a little bit of feedback going on for the enchanting changes that happened, and I'm going to read what she says here. Hey guys, thanks for your ongoing feedback on the enchanting changes for Dark Brotherhood. We're definitely listening and appreciate the concern regarding the inability to harvest potency rune stones. As a result, we're planning on trying a modification to the existing runestone harvest loot table, so it will always provide an essence and an aspect as it does now, but it will provide a 1/3 chance at a potency instead of a chance of a bonus aspect rune. The potency rune stones will continue to be offered by vendors and give you the option of buying instead of harvesting as desired. This change will be implemented in an upcoming PTS update, and we will continue monitoring the feedback and matrix. I wanted to pull this up here, but I actually didn't know what the PTS change was. Like, do you guys remember what they're doing with?
We thought it was a bug. So pretty much when you walked up to like an aspect, when you walked up to a rune and you opened it, if it was like shining red, so you're like, oh, it's an aspect rune. It came with like a potency rune and an aspect rune. Sometimes it came with 2 aspect runes, so you get like a Ta, a Jajota, and I can't remember the other names, like a Moki or whatever they're called.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, what happened? And me and Ark were live streaming the PTS, and we were like, that's probably a bug. And no, it's not a bug. It's a real thing. It was kind of strange. And the rune didn't say aspect rune. If I remember correctly, it just said like rune or something like that.
So they're essentially getting rid. They're just going to have one node, and when you open it up, you get an aspect and an essence rune, and you bought the potency based on your level. So there's no longer red, blue, and green nodes out in the world anymore. It's just one.
Right.
I don't know why they would make that change.
I think that's kind of dumb, and it's like, no offense, it's like you wasted your time doing this. Why? It's that big of a hassle for people to walk around and pick up 3 colored runes. It makes finding an aspect rune just that much more exciting when you walk up and you see a rune and you're like, oh, it's glowing red. And it's like it almost becomes like a money maker. Like, oh god, I can make so much money if I get a Kuta or a Rakuta right now. And it's normally a Ta. But
I like what James said. It kind of fed off what you said. Why would they change how these work? Were they bored with no bugs to fix?
yeah, right? Because they have no bugs to fix.
I don't know. I guess they probably had their reasons for doing this. I'll give them that. They probably looked at their metrics and went, wow, people are running by potency, blue and green runes, because who cares? Everyone jumps out of red because, hey, maybe I'll get a Kuta. More likely you'll get a Ta, but maybe I'll get a Kuta. But now they're changing how they're doing this so that when you open a... I don't know how I feel about it. I guess it simplifies it down that, like, when you open it up, you always get both an aspect and an essence rune. I guess it'll make people grab a bunch, but as someone said in chat, now they'll have even more essence runes. I mean, I grab everything because crafting bags, but I don't know. I don't like having to buy a potency. I like being able to find them in the world, because if I have to buy a potency, that automatically lowers my profit value. Like, especially when I'm doing writs. I only get 600 and some gold and maybe a chance at a Kuta and stuff like that. But if I have to buy a rune and I saw that they were pricing at like 2,000 gold, I'm like, I'm losing money buying potency runes. Like, and it kind of kills the market at that point, because who's going to sell them? Because it's like, well, now they're vendor trash, right? You just buy them from a vendor. I don't know if I like that. I don't mind having it all together. I mean, great. Now they'll actually be picked up, so that's a plus. you know, because people run by yellow runes and stuff like that because it's like no one bothers. But I would like it to have, you know, when you grab one of those runes, it's a chance at one or all of them, or two of them, or whatever the case may be. I don't know. Choices.
There's somebody in the official feedback thread who commented right after saying, "I've been trying to level my enchanting. It's a slog. It feels worthless. It's already a punishing time sink, and now they want to make it a gold sink as well."
That's true. I mean,
when I see runes, I don't think of enchanting. I think of selling them and making gold.
mm-hmm.
That's how I see everything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, I'm a mat hoarder, just like Bush in chat was saying. I even collect the essence runes. I have tons of them because you never know when you might need them. So, Eric Wrobel went to the chat room, or into the forums here, not our chat room. That would be awesome, though, Eric Wrobel. You can stop by anytime you want. Dark Brotherhood combat changes. He wanted to talk a little bit about all the different stuff that's changing in the Dark Brotherhood and a few of the big hits. First off, heavy armor, and I'm going to read this verbatim. A pillar of the ESO experience is freedom and exploration, being able to play how you want. We want you to create characters that are fun while still being successful in combat. To support this goal, all three armor types need to be effective in multiple situations. Our changes to heavy armor focus on giving more resources and more damage while retaining the feel of a character in heavy armor. We also need to be careful of not invalidating light and medium armor usage. All three armor types must be desirable. This means heavy armor needs to be useful for tanking, but it also effective for dealing damage. It's a fine line to walk. To achieve this, we've added a new passive that gives increased weapon and spell damage, but only when you are hit. This, in addition to the resource gains from Constitution, help distinguish the heavy armor playstyle from light and medium. The longer the battle goes on, the more hits you take, the more of an advantage you accumulate. This makes using elemental spells, heals, or melee attacks in full heavy armor powerful. Heavy armor has more resources and damage than before, but it's still less than light or medium armor. Light and medium armor give you a little more damage and resources, while heavy armor gives you a little more survivability. Simply equipping heavy armor doesn't make you an unkillable fortress, and wearing all light armor doesn't make you a piñata. Well, however, other customization options such as enchantments, traits, and champion system and attribute points will move you in the direction of your choosing. Heavy armor changing how it works. And Spirit, I will definitely do that as well near the end. Heavy armor adding damage. What do you guys think? I know Asari was sending me messages going, he's determined to make heavy armor work as a DPS build.
I like it.
You do?
Yeah, because you know me, I don't wear anything other than heavy armor.
Mm-hmm.
I can play a DPS, that is obvious, but I still, go through the solo content, Milestorm Arena and stuff like that. My main problem is that since I don't have any DPS, it takes a lot of time. I tried tanking through Milestorm Arena, and it took 2 hours. Normal Milestorm Arena took 2 hours as a tank.
Yeah.
So right now I can. Someone said in chat that only up to 200 weapons damage, which is not great, but still enough for me. I could put Glorious Defender set in there. I'll get around 100 weapon damage from that too, and there, I have a tank that is able to do solo content without slowing down, and which is great. I mean, it won't work in, I don't know, in a trial or in a veteran dungeon, but for solo content, it helps me out a lot. It will help me out a lot, I think.
Right. And I think it will help in 4-man content as well, because you as a tank will then be generating a little bit more damage to help push things along.
Oh yeah, that too. Yeah, right.
But yeah, I know you're not going to be queuing as a DPS in full heavy armor, because your DPS is still not going to be as high as someone in full medium or full light, or 5-1-1 or whatever the case may be, whatever meta you're trying to run. But yeah, no, I do like the change. I like now knowing that they're capping it at weapon damage. Asari probably hates me right now, but and this is coming from a guy, I love heavy armor. I wish they would allow me to make my own costume by using crafted armor and convert it into a costume, so I can make a full heavy merc gear and then just put it over my best in slot all 7 medium, which I don't like the look of. I mean, I like it, but not as much as I like the full heavy. But, you know, I'm one of those who I like the idea of the Crusader with the full heavy armor on the big two-handed greatsword. That's what I like. I don't like the medium armor. But the way it's done, it could prove to be an issue, especially like PvP-wise. Heavy armor's already sort of a meta, but now the damage is even going to be higher with this, as long as you can keep the stacks going. I'm curious to see how long the stacks actually last for this. Like, is it only a couple seconds? Do you have to get hit at once every 5 seconds or so for the stacks before they wear off? Like, that, there's a lot of questions I have for that. I mean, for solo play style, small group play style, this is helpful for tanks because they can now do stuff in a reasonable amount of time. Because I know even questing on my VR1, who's in a full tank gear, she'll never die. I can pull an entire zone and never die, but it'll take me 10 hours to down everything, just because she doesn't do much damage at all. It's noticeable. So this will definitely be helpful. Some people in chat, if they, as a tank, they love these changes. Gentleman Sour, do you play a tank? What are your thoughts on heavy armor?
I mean, I don't play a tank. I'm mostly DPS, and then now that I'm playing on PC, I took up Avi's advices going with a brain healer. But I like the changes a lot. I think there's nothing negative that comes from these changes.
Okay. Nice. Avi, what about you?
Yeah, I think it's a good change. If I ever do some DPS, I could finally put some heavy armor on and actually look how I want to look. It's more about appearance for me. I'm sorry, I must say. I love the look of heavy armor, and I never have a reason. Yeah, exactly. I mean, half of my Skyrim mods are armor mods, so yeah. So I like the idea of finally being able to have the thought of, oh, I can use heavy armor. So it's always kind of been like just the armor trait or set or whatever that I never look at or pay attention to because I have no need to wear heavy because I don't tank.
Ark, here's a good question. Sorry in chat says this. Pretty sure you guys are obligated to talk about the bracing change. Do you remember what the bracing change was?
I don't think so. What is it?
Let me pull up my list here. Sorry, maybe you can enlighten us, because I remember having that note, but I don't have it written down. So if you want to enlighten us, we'll talk about it here in a minute. I'm going to try to pull up my guide here. Speaking of guides, we've updated all of our skill line guides on DungeonCrawlerNetwork.com for Dark Brotherhood. So if you want to go read those, take a look. Special thank you to Avi, Art, Glassneer, and a few other people in chat who were helping me get some of the screenshots I need. There we go. Oh, and it's just gone. All right. Okay. Well, bye, bracing.
No, I'm still alive. I'm still not dying, so I guess I don't have too much. Oh, black cost reduction. Wait, what? Is it gone?
Yeah.
What? Oh.
Apparently. I'm pulling.
I might have a problem with that.
Using them, sorry.
I might have a problem with that.
I gotta pull up my guide for the armor right now. I don't know if I don't think I touched the passives. That's a problem.
Sorry,
Anyway.
I haven't been able to follow up on Elder Scrolls Online news lately because I'm busy. So that's why I missed that one.
Block cost reduction for bracing has been removed. People are flipping out.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Well, I mean, block cost. Ouch. Ouch. I'm gonna let Asari keep elaborating in chat because he's gonna be awesome in this. I should just pulled him on the show too. There's 5 spots. Charges. I'm gonna talk about this, and we'll get back to the bracing if he enlightens me a little bit in chat. For players, reliability is our top priority. Which, by the way, I was running charges. Like, I have a charge on my bar, critical rush, and I like it. But oh my goodness, did I notice all the bugs with it when I was doing our Imperial City night. If people were on different elevations, you know, like they were up on a platform, I could charge. My guy would run right to them, no problem. If they were in open view, my guy would just he wouldn't move. It's crazy. But anyway, we are continuing to improve the reliability and responsiveness of charge abilities, specifically focus charge, critical charge, and shield charge over the past few updates. Issues where you couldn't activate the ability or weapon swap immediately after the change were fixed. With this update, we worked to make changes or charges fire more reliably, even when on uneven terrain. I didn't really have issue with uneven terrain, more like flat spaces I had issues. The issue was caused by having to wait for a server to calculate a path between the caster and the target before starting the movement, and oftentimes this calculation was failing. We've changed how charges work under the hood, so you now be able to charge up hills and downstairs in order to increase the reliability of these abilities. We're also allowing you to charge across gaps in terrain. There is still a height restriction, so you won't be able to charge up a keep wall. That's good. Our goal is to have these abilities firing consistently while maintaining as much realism as possible. We'll have additional fixes for this going on the PTS update. Charges.
Is focus charge finally being fixed?
That's what they're saying, but I doubt it. So,
I don't have much hope. I don't have much hope for that.
Yeah. I don't. Yeah, no. As soon as they said specifically focus charge, I was kind of like, yeah, no, not gonna happen. The other two work fairly good, but focus charge is just forever broken. Asari saying, my understanding is that the bonus to block cost reduction from CP stacks differently and less effectively. So they removed bracing, which reduced the block cost, and now they are just allowing it to go through CP.
Okay, bracing was the heavy armor passive. Now it makes sense. I forgot the name, so.
Yeah, I remember bracing heavy armor passive block 20% block reduction if you were wearing 5 or more pieces. I remember that part. I didn't know it was completely removed.
I was thinking about like there's a skill passive called Wrath. So, but how is it still like 5 passives? Where does that one go? So that one is bracing. Okay. I'll let you continue on the charge stuff.
Mm-hmm. Oh no, the charge stuff is just, it is what it is. They're trying to fix charges. Not allowed to talk about it.
Then for the bracing costs, yeah, it will be a big hit, but now that we can add block cost reduction to our items as a trait, it won't be a really big problem. I mean, if the bracing still was there, I'll get bracing, 20% block cost from bracing, I'll get block reduction from champion points, and I'll get block cost reduction from the sturdy trait. I'd have like infinite blocking. I don't know. It would be nice, I'd be more immortal, but I'm already immortal, so it won't be a big deal.
Nice. Okay, I see. Alright, so there's a little bit of math in there. I like it. Damage shields. Talking about how these work, one of the changes I know they made, which they wanted to make it so damage shields were available to a lot of people, because there were certain classes that had more sorks, and it was just very hard to kill. Now they're changing a lot of this. One of the things that I really, really liked included, where's it at? The change to the annulment skill on light armor. That now blocks all damage, not just magic damage.
Oh yeah, it is.
Yeah, it blocks all damage, so everyone now can have a damage shield that blocks everything, which is fantastic.
Still the same amount?
Yeah, same amount. It just now doesn't do spell; it does everything. So you know. So yeah, there is that. No, that's really, really cool. So they're making some changes to the damage shields. Vampires. They're also making changes to how vampires work, and they want the one cool thing about vampirism was managing the Z's. That means adding a reason to be in each stage and making it easier to manage stages. Now, each stage makes you more vulnerable to fire damage, but gives you cheaper abilities and activates more passives. This means there's a reason to be stage 1, but there's also a reason to be stage 2, 3, or 4, depending on your risk tolerance for fire damage. Since stage 1 means you take no bonus damage from fire, it's a great option when running scorching dungeons like City of Ash. Stage 4 gives you maximum cost reduction on abilities and full power from all the passives, so it's great when all the fires are out. Stages are now 6 hours long, so you have plenty of time to complete a dungeon in your desired stage. To give more control over vampirism stages, you can now activate a vampire ability that removes 30 minutes from the timer. Each ability activation plunges you deeper into vampirism, so use them carefully. To go hand in hand with the updates on how vampire works, we've also updated abilities and made them more powerful. Mistform removes roots currently on your character, making it easier for vampires to escape sticky situation, and helps combat players who use multiple snares. Drain Essence now heals for much more and continues to snapshot your health value on activation. This means if you cast the ability at high health, you will heal for a small amount, even if your health dips low. If you activate when you're very low health, it will provide a strong heal every tick, even if if you receive healing from other source. This helps provide the feeling we are looking for vampire. High risk, high reward. Vampire changes. I actually like a lot of those changes. I like how the stages are now 6 hours per stage, so it's easier to maintain the stage that you want.
Yeah, that's definitely nice.
Because what was it, like 20 minutes before? Something weird like that?
Yeah, you can change 2 stages to 3 stages just being in a dungeon, especially if you're doing like bet Dragon Star or something like that. You can be stage 4 by the end of it.
Sorry says, I like snapshotting skills. Feels very tactical. Meaning, like, yeah, if it snaps your health, if you do it at high, it will remain, if you don't take the risk when you use the skill, your hot doesn't grow in power as your health goes down. It's more powerful if you use it when you're almost dead, and then it remains that way even if you heal from other sources. So yeah, it is very high risk, high reward. I like it a lot. So vampires are getting some pretty needed changes. I know Krabby from the Dungeon Crawler Network was very excited about vampire changes because he liked the idea of being a vampire, but previous incarnations of the skill were just not doing what they needed to do correctly. It just didn't feel like the right way of doing it. Do any of you guys play Vampire? Do you guys like these changes?
I don't.
I love the change.
I mean, I don't play the Vampire.
I love the changes. I think they're really good. I think it adds a lot of strategy, especially in PvP as well.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a PvE player, but in PvP, the whole thing with the high risk, high reward, it definitely plays a huge part in it, especially with the snapshot healing. My other question is, they said you can now activate a vampire ability that removes 30 minutes from the timer. I'm assuming that's taking up an ability slot.
Probably, but it's probably something that you do when you need it. So it doesn't need to. It probably has a timer, like a cooldown timer. So like it's something you put on your bar. Like, okay, for this fight, I want to be level 4 vampire. We're at the end of the boss. We're all through all the fire. I want to be a level 4, and just hit it, and it subtracts time. And then you just move it off your bar. So you probably wouldn't want this on your bar constantly, like when it's and this might not even be something. It might not even be a bar. It might be an option that you go into your character menu for. I've not seen it. I would actually like it to be something that was in your character menu that maybe you just activate while you're in there. You know, something maybe even like a synergy that you can activate at specific times. Wasn't it any what was it?
No, I don't believe it was any. It just says you can now activate a vampire ability.
Yeah, it just says
30
a
minutes from the
vampire.
timer.
It doesn't actually say which it is. I don't know. Like maybe it is, but see that's something that it doesn't really make much sense. If it was any vampire ability and not a specific one, how would you be able to maintain like stage 1 for City of Ash if anytime you used a vampire ability, all of a sudden you got sunk down?
I think it's going to be a separate ability.
Okay. Well, Sari actually says he's pretty confident it's any vampire ability. So anytime you use Mist Form or whatever, it sucks you further into vampirism. Which I could see them doing that.
I like the idea, but I'm not too positive on if it is or not.
I don't know. But yeah, to give more control over vampires. So it's pretty much if you only wanted vampirism for passives, you shouldn't use any vampire abilities. But the second you do, it removes 30 minutes. So yeah, I guess Asari could be correct on that. I am sorry. When I read it, when it said a vampire ability, I'm assuming it was something like a separate one, but
yeah,
the way it's reading now and the way he's describing it, and maybe I'll hop on the PTS afterwards and check that. Anytime you use any vampire ability, it sucks you further down. So if you were doing City of Ash on stage 1, you'd have to be very careful not to use abilities. Like you wouldn't want to use your Bat Swarm, you know, or if you did, you'd want to make sure you had plenty of time in which to do it, so you wouldn't be spamming these abilities.
Right.
Fighters Guild abilities were previously pretty niche and only useful in specific situations. We wanted to make them more broadly applicable in the way that Mages Guilds are useful for pretty much all Magicka-based players, who always have more options in choosing skills. We wanted to broaden the toolkit for stamina, and now Fighters Guild abilities are useful for all stamina characters. At the same time, we wanted to keep the flavor and personality that Fighters Guild offers. The first step we took was to remove the Undead and Daedra requirement from all abilities and make them deal their bonus damage effects to all enemies, which they do, and it's fantastic. To keep
Great
a Monster
change.
Hunter theme, we put 20% damage bonus on Undead and Daedra on a skilled tracker passive, which before was the passive that only allowed your abilities to affect werewolves. So now it's a reason to take that passive, and it's 1 point. So to make all useful for stamina builds, we changed their damage type to physical, so they scale with armor penetration, weapon critical, and champion star mighty. We're expecting to see a lot more players using Fighters Guild abilities, specifically in Overland, Dungeon, and PvP areas. Yeah, I'm actually contemplating whether or not the Flawless Dawnbreaker might actually be a viable DPS option now to use at will.
It's looking like it. Yeah.
Yeah,
It has a lot more potential now, so we'll have to test it out. But I think this is a great change.
and I know there's a passive that for every Fighters Guild ability you have on your bar, it adds like 3% weapon damage. So I know like I'm adding rearming trap to my bar in Dark Brotherhood because it gives me minor force, which is critical strike damage, as well as providing me with an extra 3% weapon damage. So, yeah, definitely awesome. And finally, improved item traits. They went around and changed a lot of the traits that were kind of worthless. Even well-fitted now actually has a purpose, reduces your dodge rolling cost, which is actually not bad anymore. It's
The
not
unlimiting dodge rolls of PvP is back.
yeah, everyone's just doing well-fitted now, so you can dodge roll forever. Yeah, that would actually be kind of funny. But yeah, so they're adding that back in.
Divines and Infused are being left as is.
Yeah, Divines and Infused are left as is. Almost everything else was changed. What do you guys think of Wrecking Blow nerf? I actually don't think it's a nerf. I actually like it. It's a good change. The knockback was annoying in PvE, and now there's 2 morphs. Dizzying Strike adds the knockback, and it's now... That's your PvP morph. Wrecking Blow adds in power. That's your PvE morph. There's a choice.
Yeah,
Do you want
I like
CC or do you want the power? It's a good choice.
Mm-hmm.
I actually really like it. I don't think as a Templar, I will never use Wrecking Blow because Biting Jabs gives me Burning Light passive, so I will never, ever use Wrecking Blow because Biting Jabs is just too much damage. But it is a good change. It's a really good change, and I really, really like it. Yep. From patch. Okay, sorry, did confirm. Casting any vampire ability will advance the timer by 30 minutes. Ooh.
Okay. Really is high risk, high reward.
Yeah,
Okay.
definitely.
Yep. Changes to improved item traits, exploration trait. That was pretty much worthless once you've explored everything. Now it's something when fighting monsters running around. What does it say? What does exploration give?
It's something along the line of like exploration, increase of experience for damage given or something like that.
No,
can't
I think
remember off the
that's
top of my head.
training. That's training now
Oh,
does that.
training, right,
So if you
okay.
I'll actually be making a full training set for when I want to grind CP.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because it increases your experience from kills when you're wearing train. No, I think exploration trait, clear choice for redesign since the world's finance. I was trying to read what it is. I know it's something different. I can't remember. I know they changed it, and it's actually fairly interesting now. So, all right. So those were the notes from the Dark Brotherhood changes on the forums by our own Eric Wrobel himself, the Wrobels. So there we go, guys. That's the news for this week. We're going to go ahead and move right on into our tales, what we've been doing in the Elder Scrolls Online for the past 2 weeks, because it's been a while. Obviously, we have our guest, Gentleman Sour and Arcaneer. So, Gentleman Sour, why don't you go ahead first and tell us what you've been up to in-game?
Yeah, all right. Well, I'll give you two sides, one on console, one on PC. So on console, I started the Wings of Fate Xbox Guild, and as you know, we've been getting a pretty good amount of people in there. Just trying to set up a dungeon run. Before, it was kind of bad timing. Not a lot of people could do it. So we're trying to shoot for May 21st to do Fungal Grotto. Basically just leveling on Xbox, and same thing for PC. I've been leveling with Robot Dancer. She's been helping me run quests and take down world bosses, so that's been basically my playtime, and of course drinking and fishing.
Drinking and
Of course.
fishing.
Most important part.
I think that's our most popular event on the North American mega server, Wings of Fate Guild. That's drinking and fishing. We always have a nice turn. We actually have, it was really funny when we have other events, people kind of sign on as the event's going on, and they're like, oh, I'm here. You know, they arrive when they want. People arrive early for drinking and fishing. Like, there's people waiting for drinking and fishing. I'm like, I'm not even on yet. Like, I'm like, okay, guys, I'm gonna get on here and do all whatever. People are like, we're already out ready. We're ready. We got our drinks. We got our fishing poles. We're ready to go. It's like, wow, okay. Oh, there it is. James Harvey. Man, chat room, you guys have been great. Exploration. This trait now increases all gold gained from monster kills.
Ah.
So, there you go. I knew it was something that was actually fairly interesting where people may actually want to do it. Maybe I'd do something like a half training, half exploration or something so that when I'm farming CP, I'm getting money as well. That'd be kind of neat. All right, Arcaneer, how about you? What have you been doing these past couple weeks?
Well, this week I haven't almost never logged into ESO because I was busy, but last week I downloaded the PTS and I started running around in PTS, never did any combat except with Avi. We did the world bosses, which I'll let Avi explain that because it will be better. It was awesome. What I did was simply I just ran around in Anvil and Kvatch, tried to, you know, like I saw the Fighters Guild and stuff like that, and it was nostalgic. It was great. So basically I was screaming around, you know, enjoying the nostalgia in Gold Coast. That was my week. We did the trials, which that was the first boss, right? We couldn't complete in trials.
Oh,
week,
Manacora? Yeah.
The Manacora.
Yep.
Yeah, I tried to dance and seduce it. It didn't work. It should have been. It should have worked. I don't know why it didn't.
I don't know why either. It should have.
Then, yeah, as you mentioned, there was the fishing night, which is always great. I'm sad that I missed it this week. So, and that passed as usual. We did naked fishing, we did naked dancing, we got killed by the guards. Nothing weird, absolutely normal, professional fisherman work. So yeah, that was my week.
Nice.
Sounds like
oh.
being naked is kind of a new part of the whole drinking and fishing
I don't
nowadays.
new. That's a standard. I think if you follow Robot Dancer on Twitter, you'll see a bunch of pictures.
Yeah.
She doesn't understand the rules. What happens at drinking and fishing stays in drinking and fishing. She's like posting it. I'm like, oh, she's that friend that after you go out drinking, she posts pictures from the night before, and you're like, oh, why? Yeah. Avi, how about you, sir? What have you been up to?
Oh man, what have I been up to? So I've been playing Overwatch. No, I'm just kidding.
That's gonna kick me from the call. That's it.
No, I mean I really haven't played too much ESO this last week, but I did play a good amount since our last episode. I went on a grinding spree for a little while, which was it was pretty fun. Deltia from Deltia's Gaming needed a grinding partner. I was the same level as him, so we decided to group up, slap on the Rings of Mora for the XP bonus, and just grind our hearts out. And I grinded from, I think, VR 6 or so to VR 13. So Avi Optimal is now VR 13, and I think that's probably where I'm going to leave him until...
No, you have 3 weeks yet.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I always say I'm going to leave him, then all of a sudden I come on the next episode, and I'm like, he's leveled some more, so...
Well, you kind of did that now. Like, last time, it's like, oh, he's like VR 6. Yeah, I'm going to leave him there. Now you're like VR 13. You've, like, over doubled his VR levels, so...
But the VR 13 through 16 are just the most tedious, you know? They're really slow coming. The main grind spots that I go to, the XP is completely gone at VR 13. So I had to have to go somewhere like Rothgar or Imperial City. They're always way too populated, and all the best grinding spots in Imperial City are in Daggerfall area. So it's just kind of a more frustrating thing. But we'll see it. We'll see how that goes. So yeah, I got the VR 13. I want to give a amazing shout out. I mentioned that I needed the willpower set because I'm trying to get all my armor set up for Dark Brotherhood to drop, so I can get Avi Optimal completely optimal. And
Nice.
yeah, like what I did there, huh?
I did.
So Amanda sent me a message saying that she had a couple of willpower rings with arcane trait, and I went, oh my goodness, and she said she'll send them to me. And then I got on the game, and there's a little message saying, here's a little extra something I found in the bank if you end up needing it, and it was the necklace. So I have 3-piece willpower and arcane, and
Oh, wow.
I cried a little bit.
That,
I was,
that's pretty nice. I like
yeah,
that.
it's very nice. A big shout out to Amanda. It was amazing to come home from work too and see. It made my whole day. And I think that's the second shout out she's gotten from me in the last 2 episodes. Is that why you're doing this, Amanda?
Yeah.
Gotta get my name on tail.
I just realized that the Elder Scrolls Online retweeted our episode. Wow.
Oh, good.
I just realized that. That's
Well,
awesome. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Gina. Thank you, Jess. I know it was one of you guys, probably.
What nice people.
You guys are fantastic. Thank you for that. I really appreciate that.
Yeah,
I just was looking. I'm like, oh, what is this? I noticed I had all these, notifications. I'm like, oh, that's interesting. And I looked at them real quick. I'm like, oh, wow, ESO retweeted us. That's awesome.
The watchers on the stream have been steadily going up.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's
nice,
popular.
nice active chat. And what else have I been doing? As Ark said, we went into the PTS. We jumped on a live stream, and we were streaming the Gold Coast.
Okay.
And we decided to go to the world bosses. There's the one in Kavach, the Kavach Battle Arena, which was pretty fun. It was a little simpler. And then we went to the other world boss, which is like this gigantic minotaur or whatever.
Yeah.
This giant monster. We two-manned it, and it was an amazing fight. Like, one of us kept dying, the other one had to stay alive. All of a sudden, it turned into pure defense mode until the other person can get back up. And obviously, Ark's a tank, I'm a healer, so we were able to do that pretty well. that boss lasted maybe 7-8 minutes. It was a long fight.
Wow.
And I was really happy about that fight. Like we geeked out about it a little bit. It was pretty good. It's also when we learned about the rune, when we opened the rune, and we learned about the we jumped on all the pets, all the mounts, and we checked out everything that they had to offer on the PTS, and we learned that the lion is exactly the same as the Sensei, just with a different head.
Well,
Yeah,
Like, it was so funny because we like turned from a back view and they look exactly the same. Then you turn around and their heads are different.
they just add the mane to it, like hair.
Yeah,
I see.
it was funny.
Nice.
And that's pretty much what we did. We also we went and ran one of the delves, which was a good time. It was pretty simple and pretty small. It wasn't as exciting as say the Rothgar delves or anything, but it was nice. I'm really enjoying the Gold Coast, Kvatch, and the whole area. Like Ark said before, it's a big nostalgia trip going back from Oblivion and seeing it, and it's just like, I'm so happy. It's where I want my house. When housing comes, it's where I want to live. So.
When housing comes.
When housing comes.
Which, everyone stay tuned for next week because we have some news that we want to talk about. But I wasn't going to talk about it on this episode. This was specifically Dark Brotherhood. So next week, come back. We have some things to talk about. So, yeah.
Right. That's been my week.
All right. Well, I tested out Dark Brotherhood on PTS a little bit. Ark and I hopped in, and we were playing around for a little bit, just kind of geeking out about Kvatch and Anvil and running all around and finding the Dark Brotherhood hideout and playing with the different personalities and things like that and admiring the pretty mermaid statue. And then we did that for a little bit. Shout out to Humane Sacrifice. Avi and I were doing PvP before Imperial City. What was it? Last night? No, not last week, last Thursday. And I got a message from Humane Sacrifice going, "Hey, I like Tails." And he's like, "Good to see you out here doing some PvP." I said, I said thank you, and I'll give him a shout out. And he goes, "It's a shame Avi's not here." I'm like, "Avi is here. He's in the group." He's like, "Oh, good. Well, now you're not going to die." So, a lot of work on you, Avi.
It also happened to me and Ark on the PTS.
Nice.
Where we were inside the
Oh, yeah.
delve, and all of a sudden sent a message and was like, "Hey, Avi, fan of the show. Is Aggelos with you?" And I was like, "No, Aggelos isn't here." He's like, "Well, be sure to tell him I said hi." And I'm sorry I didn't write your name down. I should have. My fault.
Carly in chat, I hope it's related to housing. Well, maybe it is. Maybe. Anyway, nice. So shout out, as I said, to Humane Sacrifice. So I was going to do it last week. We didn't have a show, but I wrote it down so I wouldn't forget. PvP this Thursday with the DCN Guild in Imperial City. We were doing some sewers. We kind of got crushed a little bit in the sewers a few times because there were a lot of people down there. So we decided near the end of the night that, you know what, we're done with sewers. We're going to go out into the Arboretum to find some PvP, right? Just going to mess around a little bit. And there were so many bananas everywhere. And it was fantastic because we had Zakir with us, a bunch of different people. Zakir was with us, Glacier was with us, and it was great because we pushed them all the way back to their spawn point. So they're standing on top of their spawn point, casting down at us. And we were just murdering them. And Zakir was like, "Hold on, I'll pull him down for you." So he gets his extended chains. And he grows up, grabs one, pulls him down to us, and we just annihilate him. Probably for like an hour and a half, we were just killing bananas left and right. It was fantastic. It was, as Glacier said, chat, it was a glorious battle. It was... When we got there, we were up on our platform. There were yellows everywhere. We jumped down. We started pushing them all the way back until we got all the way to the point where they were stuck up on their platform, and they were trying to shoot us from up there, and our DKs just kept pulling them down, and we just kept crushing them. It was so much fun. And then I have a note saying check achievements. So I went over to my Twitter so I remember what it was. First off, I finished... Last night, I finished at drinking and fishing, I finished all of the rare fish in Stonefalls. So next week we're starting a new zone. I think it's going to be Deshaun. So we're going to work our way through the Ebonheart Pack zones, and then we'll probably do the silver and then the gold and then the expansion stuff. So
Nice.
so got all 12 rare fish from Stonefalls. But likely the most important thing, and the thing that Amanda Gray hates me for, is I was running with Nerdman and his wife, Lenwee, and we defeated White Gold Tower Vet. So I was very excited about that. Finally got my clear
Congrats.
on White Gold Tower Vet. So
Congrats.
and
Who got the helm?
oh, by the way, and I actually think I mentioned this, that I now hate Nerdman as much as you hate Zakir. Medium
You got-
divines Molekena helm for him,
my
and I'm sitting there,
God.
we've got nothing. I'm like, I hate you. He's like, he already has a helm, but he got the best one too, and I'm like, I hate you, Nerdman. I don't, but I do. So Nerdman is
Stole
now.
it. If you looted it before him, or if you did it before him after him,
Yep.
then you would have got it. That's how I see it with.
Yeah. He took it from me. Like, I opened up, oh, there it is. He reached in and grabbed it and ran off with it. Yep. Yeah, no, I'm very upset. But no, it was really great. We ran and finally got that clear. So that was exciting. I know we were having issues getting past planar inhibitor before, because that thing is just but you know, it's really great now. So we managed to finish that. So that was my gameplay. Oh no, I shouldn't say that. We forgot one other thing. Trials night was last night, our end game night. We didn't have enough people to do trials, so we split up into two groups and did normal DSA. Because we had two healers who had never done it before, so we figured we'd get normal done. So they all got clears on normal. So hopefully we'll get their levels up. Robot Dancer and Kilted Piper's wife, LYDZ, Lexi. Yeah, Lexi. And so they got those clears to get them up. So we'll be doing some vet DSAs hopefully in the future as well if we don't have enough for trials. But yeah, it was a good time overall. Really great. That was my gameplay for the week. So, guys, it's the end of the show. That's it. We're done.
That's it.
So I'm going to go around. You guys give your final thoughts, where people can find you. Please give shout-outs for your guilds as well, you know, the ones that you're
All
running. Oh, and before I log off of here, one more thing for me. Actually, I'll wait till it's my turn. Avi, go ahead and go first.
This was a really good episode. It's nice having a full cast, and Ark, Gentleman Sour, you guys, very good time to talk to. So I really enjoyed it. I'm excited for the Dark Brotherhood. Hopefully next episode my throat will be better, and I won't have to mute and look like a mucus spewing monster on the webcam with a tissue in front of my face for half the episode. So that's my goal. So yeah, really good episode. Where you can find me, you can find me pretty much everywhere: PlayStation Network, Steam, Twitter, Instagram, anywhere you can find somebody, I'm there, and that's at Avi Optimal, AVIOPTIMAL.
Okay. Arkaneer.
Well, it was great. It was great to be back, and I wasn't as nervous as the last time, which I know because I didn't play an Ultimate this time. So that's a great addition too. Yeah, I enjoyed the episode. I'm a fan of Dark Brotherhood. I have been since 2006 with the Oblivion, so yeah, I'm looking forward to everything we talked about on this episode. As for the guild, I'm running an Dungeon Crawler Network European guild on PC. We don't have much members right now, with Nate being absent. I guess that's one reason. I need him to do the marketing part, advertising part. Other than that, I haven't started recruiting in-game, so I'll start that too. You can find me as Arkaneer anywhere because I made that name up, but I won't try to spell it out. You can see it under my camera, I guess. Is it there?
Mm-hmm.
Alright then, yeah, it's at Arkaneer in-game on Twitter. I have a website which is idle at the moment because I don't have time to post anything on it. So basically, yeah, that's that.
Okay. Gentleman Sour, what about you, sir?
Yeah, I love the episode. It's very surreal being on after listening to 100 plus episodes starting from episode 1. It's awesome. I really appreciate it. It's awesome to talk to everybody from DCN, and I'm really excited for Dark Brotherhood. It was probably my favorite part of Elder Scrolls V, and I'm excited to have it come back. It was definitely my favorite part of the game. You can find me on Twitter at Gentleman Sour. That's GentlemanSour. You can find me on Xbox. That is also my gamer tag. I am running the DCN Xbox One Guild Wings of Fate. Like I said, we're trying to get more members, so please feel free to message me via Xbox or Twitter and come aboard, because I'm trying to get some more people in to do a dungeon run. And I will be streaming on the DCN Twitch page on Saturdays from usually 12 to 1 or a little bit afterwards. And I will be doing a 1,500 crown pack giveaway on the May 21st stream. So May 21st, I'll be giving that away.
Okay. Excellent. Perfect. Oh, and just a special treat after the ending song ends. Stay tuned just a little longer because I have one other treat for you guys. So if you're watching, we have one other treat to give you at the end of the show, but you have to wait till the whole thing. All right. So, yay. All right. For myself, you can find me in game at Aggelos AGGELOS. You can find me on Twitter, Aggelos AGGELOS_WOF. Of course, make sure you join our Facebook page, youtube.com/Dungeon Crawler Network, facebook.com/Dungeon Crawler Network. We have Steam and PS4 groups as well, all Dungeon Crawler Network. Check out our website, dungeoncrawlernetwork.com. And thank you so much for those of us who support the network on patreon.com/Dungeon Crawler Network. You guys help us out, keep us going. You guys are the best out there. If you want to support us, you can find the links for that on the bottom of our website. And make sure you leave us a YouTube little upcheck, a subscription there. That always helps. Leaving us a review on iTunes, telling a friend about us, all that helps get the word out. So all that's great. Thank you so much. We appreciate you coming out on this special episode. Thank you to my co-host, Avi. As always, our guest Arcaneer, Gentleman Sour, thank you so much for coming out. And we will see everyone next week for the next episode. Everyone have a great, great night, everyone.
A serpent lights the ancient sky of bread of tainted stars. Evil stirs, and in its wake the souls of mortals sway. And sorrow reigns over fields of red, and spirits pace through the shadows cast by their grace. These are days and nights of venom and blood. Heroes will rise as the anchors fall. Brave the strong, reclaim every soul that belongs to the beauty of dawn. Darkness strikes to blind the strong, but faith will guide our swords. Loyal hearts will stand as one and fight with shields of hope. Pride Drums of war will rend and roar till the sun burns bright once more. These are days and nights of blood. Heroes will rise as the anchors fall. Brave the strong, reclaim every soul that belongs to the beauty of dawn.